Welcome back to Houston Newsmakers, where I've been joined by Victoria Chen, the founder and executive director of Bridge Year, Patty Williams Downs, executive director of One Goal Houston, and Dr. Daniel Villanueva Jr., UHD vice president of enrollment management. We've been talking about your various organizations and what you are doing to help students along the way. Question I have for all of you is, are we here because of a failure in public education, or is it something else?
Kimbrell's coming in hot, you all. It's a hard question.
I try to come up with something that, kind of makes us think, because if your organizations wouldn't be here were not for a great success in public education.
I think that's absolutely right. I think working in nonprofit, Patty, I'm sure you feel this way, we are here in service and support of the schools and the districts that we work with, right? I think we ask schools and teachers to do a lot these days.
And you were a teacher,
and I was one, and Patty was as well. And I think the more complex our world becomes, the more support schools will need to better prepare students for what that world will look like.
You find that the same way as you start to pick up the ball as these kids are getting ready to think about something beyond high school?
Yes. So as Victoria mentioned, I was a teacher. I also come from very humble beginnings. I joined Teach for America. That's why I'm here in Houston. I was a campus principal. I worked at a system level. So prior to One Goal, I worked in K through 12. And education is a public good, whether you are in it or you are servicing it. And oftentimes, the public good is not serving the public in the ways that should meet every student's need. Sometimes we can do one size fits all instead of, many strokes for many folks. And so, yes, I think that we haven't met every student's need, and therefore we are trying to create equitable practices for them.
And when you get to the college level, many students come to the college level without the kind of qualifications they need. And you kind of pick up the ball a little bit and kind of bring these students along a little bit on your level.
We do, and it's an unfortunate situation, and it's not isolated to Houston, and unfortunately to the state of Texas, but in reality, the career and college counselors and counselors in the high schools, they have an undue burden of additional responsibilities that isn't exclusive to counseling and proactive career and college readiness. They are administering tests, they are dealing with parents, behavioral issues, and so I wouldn't necessarily say it's a direct failure, but it's a challenge. Universities and community colleges to proactively get these students in transition from the high schools to a community college or to a university.
We talk about equity and equitable education, that sort of thing. In this hyper-politicized environment, I've found that some people even push back against the word equity. And so for what you're doing, that could be a challenge if people aren't embracing what you mean by equity to help equalize the playing field for education.
I think it's equity. I think it's also inclusivity. It's making sure that every student that we work with feels like they can accomplish whatever goals they set out for themselves, and not adults putting goals on students, which I felt like was happening before.
And I think it's okay if people are uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable navigating this complex system, and I will tell you that if people are uncomfortable or pushing back on the word of diversity, equity, and inclusion, that's okay. That's progress for us as a first-generation Latino male who navigated higher education. I was uncomfortable in a lot of situations, and sometimes still find myself in an uncomfortable situation. So that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, education is not a blue or a red fight. It is not a fight about color. It is a fight about kids. Houston cannot be successful unless our kids are successful. So whatever side of the fence that we're on, there is no fight in this. The fight is for kids, not against education. We all need to be in line with that.
How optimistic are each of you about the future of our children in this educational system as it is, and with the support system that you're all providing?
I think there are many opportunities within the city of Houston. You've heard from my colleagues today, of course, in higher ed. There are pledge programs from community colleges and universities that offer free tuition and fees for families under income levels that meet certain thresholds. In addition, there's a lot of scholarship and support. Unfortunately, there is a lack of funding for higher education from the state government, right? And that's what will be the most transformative in terms of this work. But I'm hopeful because I see the work of, in particular, the University of Houston downtown, where we are taking these students who have been historically excluded, have been historically marginalized, and come in with the greatest need and transforming their lives and the lives of generations to come.
You optimistic?
I am, because of our kids. They're brilliant, their families are amazing, our communities are incredible.
Victoria?
That, and also I think our business community is getting involved in a new way. I think the business community is seeing higher ed is helping them train their workforce for tomorrow, and because of that, they're investing in programs like ours and trying to help put students on different pathways.
Okay, so I'm going to throw a curve here. We're going to stick around. We're going to do a Houston Newsmakers Extra. We'll talk a little bit longer because I'm encouraged by all of this. I know that you are as well. We'll do that in a second. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you. Good luck for you and what you're doing in the future for our students in this community as well.